Good morning or afternoon, 7th grade honors and 8th graders. We are going to learn about solving multi-step equations today. Not very hard, but what you're going to have to use is previous knowledge that you've learned in the past, starting in 5th grade. You started learning PEMDAS, order of operations, parentheses, then exponents, then multiply or divide, whichever comes first, left or right, and then add or subtract, whichever comes first, left or right. So we're going to have to use a little bit of that because, anyway, you'll see. So let's get started. I'm going to do several examples. Now, remember, if you have a question, it's very important that you ask that question at that time. Don't go to the quizzes assignment and then attempt to try to learn it. Okay, it's really important because this semester, I'm not giving you chapter reviews before you take a chapter test. You're going to take your chapter test. We have to step our game up a little bit, and I have to raise my expectations. So let's get started. All right, so this first equation that we have is 5 parentheses x minus 3 plus 2x plus 41. So using PEMDAS, we need to do parentheses first. Now, we can't do anything with that, so we're going to use the distributive property. We're going to distribute the 5 to the x and the 5 to the minus 3 because what this is saying is 5 times what's inside the set of parentheses, okay? So we have to distribute it in there, okay? All right, we got this. All right, so that's our first step. So what is 5 times x? 5x, and then 5 times negative 3. Negative 15. Remember, if you have a calculator, you should use it. I mean, even though you probably could do that in your head. All right, then it's plus 2x is equal to 41. All right, now what I can do, I can either move this 15 over, or I like to just combine my likes. So now I have likes. I have 5x and 2x. So personally, I like to add those two together. So I have a positive 5x and a positive 2x. So when I combine those two, 5x plus 2x is 7x, and then minus 15 is equal to 41. Now we have this in an easy format, like you've done this. So the difficult part is, this is probably the scary part. When you see this, and you see all these x's and you freak out a little bit. All you have to do is distribute that, whatever's outside that parentheses, combine your likes, and now we got something that we can work with. This is easy. We've got this. So we're going to add 15 here because we have to undo it. And we're going to add 15 here. And then we'll have 7x is equal to 56. All right? Easy. Now, we're going to get rid of the 7 by dividing by 7. Because it's the opposite. We're doing 7 times x, so we got to do the opposite. We got to undo it. And we always have to keep our equations balanced. What we do on the left side, we have to do on the right side. So now we're going to divide by 7, and x is equal to 8. Okay? That's pretty easy. That was example 1. We'll do another example in just a second. All right, next example. A little bit more difficult. We have a set of parentheses here and a set of parentheses here with numbers on the outside. So we have to distribute those numbers. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to start on the left side because that's just how you read a book, left to right. That's just how I do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drop this 4a down, but I'm going to distribute the 3a in there. So I have 4a minus, and I'm going to distribute this first. 3 times a, and I can get rid of the parentheses once I do that. 3 times a is 3a, and negative 3 times a is negative 3a, and then negative 3 times negative 2 is plus 6, okay? Now I've got to distribute the 2 over here. So 2 times 3a is 6a, and 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, all right? So now it's not as scary. It's a little less congested. It's got, we got stuff to work with. So the next step is I want to combine my likes. So I can see that I have 2 variables over here. So I have 4a minus 3a. That's going to be 1a plus 6 equals 6a minus 4. Now this is a little bit like what we did last week when we had variables on both sides. All right, so we have to get them to one side. So what I like to do is I like to look to see which one is the bigger one. Is 1a bigger or 6a bigger? 6a is bigger. So I want to move the 1a over. So since I'm moving this 1a over, I'm going to be moving the -4 over here. Okay? So how to get rid of the 1a is to subtract 1a because we're adding it there. And what I do to the left side, I've got to do to the right side. So now I have 6 equals 5a minus 4. All right, so now I've got to get rid of this 4, so I got to bring it over. So the opposite of -4 is +4, +4, and because what you do to the right, you got to do left. 6 plus 4 is 10, and 10 is equal to 5a. Now I got to get rid of the 5 in front of this variable because we want to get a by itself. We want to know, what does a equal? So I'm multiplying 5 times a, so I've got to undo it, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 5 and divide by 5, and it's going to be 2 is equal to a. And you can plug this 2 in up here, and you can see, well, this side equals that side. So we can do that real quick. So I'm just going to show you. It does not take you 3 seconds of your life to check this. So let's do 4 times 2, because that's what we got, minus 3. 2 minus 2 is equal to 2. 3 times 2 minus 2. Okay? All right. All right, so we're going to do what's in the parentheses first. That's 0. So now, and 4 times 2 is 8. So we got 8 minus 3 times 0 is equal to, do the parentheses first. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. 2 times 4. And 3 times 0, -3 times 0 is 0. So we have 8 is equal to 2 times 4 is 8. These are both equal, so my equation is balanced, so I know that I did it correctly, okay? And it's a very, and I know it's an extra step for you guys to check your math, but it's a really good idea to do it, especially during testing or anything for a grade. Now, if you're practicing, I get not wanting to do it, but if you're doing something for a grade, it's very important to check yourself, okay? All right, guys, I saved the best for last. Don't freak out. Yes, there's fractions. Not a big deal. So what we're going to do, we still have to distribute. We have a set of parentheses, and we have a number in front of it. So we're going to distribute the 2/7 to the 14x and the 7/2. So I'm going to go to the side and do some math because I like to keep my equation like a triangle, an upside-down triangle. Anyway, so I'm going to do 2/7 times 14 over 1, because that's what that would be. And I can see that I can cross reduce. 7 will go into 14 2 times, because 2 times 7 is 14. And 7, okay, so 7 divided by 7 is 1. And 14 divided by 7 is 2. So now we have 2 times 2, which that's going to make that 4x, okay? So I just multiplied this, and I got 4x. All right, then I've got to do 2/7 times 7/2, and I can cross reduce both, and that's going to equal 1. So it's going to be +1 minus 3x is equal to 9. All right, so it looked really scary, and it ended up being really easy to work. Okay, so don't freak out. All right, so now I'm going to combine my likes, which is the 4x and the -3x. So 4x minus 3x is 1x. So I have 1x plus 1 equals 9. And we know that every variable by itself has an invisible 1 beside it, so we can just kind of ignore the 1, or we can leave it there. I'm going to, we can kind of ignore the 1 or take it away, all right? All right, so I'm going to do -1 here to get rid of this, so I can get x by itself, -1. So x is equal to 8, all right? So I hope that you thought today's lesson was easy, and good luck.